Alright, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's worth. Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network. Alright, y'all see what we got going on here? As y'all see the thumbnail, y'all read the title under the thumbnail. Yeah, man, today's video is dealing with you guys. Quavo and Offset. Now, Quavo, he meet up with QC CEO Pierre to talk about getting TakeOff solo catalog. And your boy Offset, he's doing his own thing, man. He's already signed his first artist to his own label. But again, man, y'all see the thumbnail. It looked like your boy Quavo having a meeting with QC CEO Pierre to talk about buying TakeOff solo catalog, and also if Quavo and Offset will move forward with QC and renew the Migos contract. And that's if Quavo and Offset want to resign under Quality Control Music a second time around since TakeOff passing. I told y'all before, contracts gonna have to be renewed or reconstructed based around TakeOff's untimely demise. Because when the Migos first signed under QC, all three were present. And that's Krishnik Kari Ball, Quavius Keyate Marshall, and Kiari Kendra Savis, better known as TakeOff, Quavo, and Offset. Now, due to TakeOff absence, the question is, how will Quavo and Offset move forward as the Migos? Before we get into it, as always, let's first pay our respects and say rest in peace to TakeOff, condolences to his family, and much love to all my folks in the ATL. Quavo, Offset, TakeOff brother, YRN lingo, y'all will soon get justice for TakeOff's untimely demise. Soon as J.Prince Jr. and his mob ties tell the people what actually happened. Now, I know a lot of people going off Quavo and J.Prince Jr. having a back and forth, them having a disagreement, it made somebody up a burner and send up TakeOff. But at the same time, that's not enough for the people. Because again, the people want justice for what happened with TakeOff. Because he didn't deserve that, man. He was invited out to that event, so he should have been highly protected, man. But no, man, I don't believe that J.Prince Jr. understood that he had some high-profile names at that private event that needed to be highly protected, man. So with the third of the Migos being gone, where their contracts are set as all three being present to perform in shows, do tours, and red carpet events, in order for the contracts to be upheld to the set conditions without it being seen as a breach in contract. And I believe because Quavo and Offset had nothing to do with TakeOff untimely demise, that's something they can renegotiate, is that they're able to continue to still perform. It's just they're going to have to let it be known that a third of the Amigos is not going to be able to attend. Now I'm dealing with Offset. I don't think Offset will resign. I believe he on his own thing with his own team. Now Offset, he's still going to tap in with Quavo here and there because that's fam. That's automatic. But Offset, he in motion to get his own label off the ground. He said he's ready to get behind the scenes and get the job done. Offset already let it be known before. He believes he learned enough from QC CEOs, Coach K, and Pierre on how to properly run a label. So now it's time that Offset invest in himself and his team to see a bigger piece of the pie, to really set his family up for generational wealth. That's what Offset speaks on. And I want to say I respect that mindset. Plus, I believe when Offset had to sue QC for the full rights to his solo catalog, it tainted their relationship to properly move forward with business. I mean, how can Offset move forward knowing in the back of his mind these guys just tried to pull some underhanded activity with his distribution deal? Then they made it seem like he was the problem. Now, let's get back to Quavo. See, Quavo isn't just meeting up with QC CEO Pierre to talk about renewing the Migos contract. Quavo is trying to buy TakeOff solo catalog from QC, which is good because Quavo understands TakeOff catalog can feed and take care of his family and not someone else's, which happens 90% of the time. And that's because a lot of artists / creators are not aware of the breakdown of the music industry pertaining to contracts, publishing, copyrights is all associated with your catalog. The music you wrote for yourself and others is part of your intellectual property, which is a breakdown of your catalog. A catalog basically means a collection of songs from the same owner, or a list of musical compositions and songs that are created and registered under the name of an individual or entity and are combined in the form of a music catalog. The owner has complete control of the copyrights, the publishing, and the master rights to the songs included in the music catalog. And with that, the artist should receive income by the generated music royalties each time the music is being played and consumed. So with that, the commercial marketplace for music is changing at a consistently high speed. Without an understanding of these changes, artists risk being undervalued. And undervalued basically means not getting paid your full worth for your work. That's why knowing the real value of music royalties is a must across the board for all artists in every genre of music. Knowing not only the current value of your catalog, but the lifetime value is where the money is at. Now, we seen this about 2 years ago during that whole pandemic where people couldn't tour or do shows. So the next thing they was doing is selling their catalog. A quick quote, they say it's critical for music creatives to become fully aware and register for all the different categories of royalties and licensing fees they may be eligible to receive. I see a lot of artists undervalue their work by taking a huge portion of upfront money, or in other words, an advancement check, which most likely is tied to a portion of the artist's publishing rights in the contracts that they sign, which the artist is unfamiliar with, because the only thing they cared about was the dollar sign. They really didn't care to value the overall quality of their work, which is their catalog. So it's very imperative when signing your name on documents, be familiar with the legalese used in these contracts. If not, get someone whose profession is to evaluate publishing rights, aka one's catalog, and look over contracts and see how the numbers benefit you. That's the reason why folks gotta pay attention to the history of things, because we had too many examples in the past that people can learn from to not continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. But that's the problem. A lot of artists come in the game, they see that contract and see how much these people offering them, and their head get big right there on the spot. That they stop listening to people that's trying to tell them how to properly move in this game. Because you have to understand, it's more sharks out there in that world of business, and they can't wait to sink their teeth in you, especially when they could see that you unfamiliar about how the music industry is ran. They know your focus is on just getting to the bag, and you're not paying attention to how things are ran. So the only thing left for them to do is run circles around you. Yeah, folks, right. Don't be so quick to sign a contract that you end up signing all your copyrights, publishing rights, and basically you have no ownership over your catalog. So I say all that to say this. Pay the person whose profession is to look over contracts. It's better you doing that than looking up 2 years from now and you broke. All because you thought you was getting that lump sum of money, but not understanding that upfront money, that investment check, all it did was dip into your publishing rights. And every time they offer you some upfront money or advancement money, you don't understand there's a contract you sign every time they give you this money. And those contracts are always associated with your catalog. But again, there's a lot of artists that's unfamiliar with that, because the only thing they're paying attention to in that contract is the dollar amount. So they will ignore all the legalese information before it got to that dollar amount based on how much they gonna pay them. So by them ignoring that legalese and they just ignorantly signed the contract, they don't even understand. They just sold majority of their rights away for a small amount of change. I mean, this happens all the time, man. Past and even present day artists are still going through this, because for some reason they still gonna ignore all the stories that came before them based around people getting duped on their contracts. I mean, it's a whole show called Unsung based around artists ignorantly signing contracts, and they think because they gave it to their parent know more than the lawyer. Most of the time the parent is just as ignorant as the child, because the parent gonna do the same thing the child did, skim through the whole contract and only look for the dollar amount that they say they gonna pay them, ignoring all that legalese information that's basically saying, hey, once you take this upfront money, we own your publishing and your catalog. And now on the back end, you're gonna end up owing us back. With that, I just want to let the people know, when they say your life is in your hands, they mean your life is in your signature. So pay attention to the contracts you sign. Matter of fact, all documents, because 95% of the documents out there are some type of binding contract. So pay attention to that before you sign it. Don't be so quick to sign it based on them giving you a time frame. Give yourself a time frame, because they'll rush you. The reason why they rush you, because they know or they don't want you to make the proper decision. Because your mistake is their gain. That's why I always say, always be aware and always stay prepared. But hey, we got more in store. As always, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's worth. Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network.